Welcome to Ball and Ballers again. This is the post game of Palace versus United, a game that we actually won 2-1. Great game. Game of two halves. First half, I thought we were poor. We were absolutely poor in the first half. We didn't really get much done. We were losing the ball. The ball kept bouncing off Xerxes quite a lot, and it kept going to the opposition. We weren't really winning many of the duels. We kept losing them. We weren't really winning many of the second ball. Adam Wharton cut us up. Mateta scored. Well, not scored, but got the penalty. And then he scored after the second try on the penalty because the first one obviously wasn't allowed because of a double touch. I'm not sure how you feel about that rule, but I feel like if you take a penalty and you double touch it, that's it. You don't really have to retake a penalty again, but that's just my opinion. So, yes, it was game of two halves. First half, I thought, yeah, it's going to be another Everton drama. Another game where we're going to get hammered 3-0, 4-0. It seemed that way. We weren't doing well. They were coming at us. They had the better chances, better possession. We were trying to get the crosses in. We weren't doing much with the crosses. We couldn't really do anything. They were kept clearing it away. But the second half, it just totally changed. You had Luke Shaw make some amazing tackles and clearances towards the edge of a goal, even in a box. He got the ball away. We were playing a bit smarter. The ball kept bouncing off Xerxes less. He kept holding the ball up and passing it off. And Mbeumo and Cunha were better on the right. I felt like Dalot actually had a decent game. I can't knock him. Dalot actually had a decent game. And the end result was a 2-1 victory through goals by Xerxes, who scored from a tight angle, the tightest angle I've seen of him for a while, but he still scored. And then Mount with that free kick, which I thought Bruno was going to take originally, but then I thought, yeah, Mount's lining up, and Mount can take a shot. And he did. And he scored. So it was pretty much a game of two halves. In the second half, I thought we were winning the ball a bit more. We were more aggressive. We were creating more chances. We were trying to get the ball up front more. We were defending them. We were holding them off. Now, I don't know whether that was fatigue from them playing midweek and losing, but it might have been. But to get a result like we did was just amazing and immense. And it was something that we really needed. I wasn't really confident before the game. I predicted it to be a 2-0 loss against Palace after that Everton result because I didn't know what team was actually going to show up. And it seemed like the team against Everton showed up in the first half, but then that changed in the second half. Now, Luke Shaw, I thought, was one of the best players on the pitch. Dalot was good on the left. He did win some balls. Ahmad and Mbeumo, the linker play that was non-existent in the first half, but it came up in the second half. But Mbeumo was on the left, on the right, in the center, in defense. You saw him everywhere, and that's what I like. Xerxes, I've been hard on him. I do like Xerxes. I have liked him, and I have been hard on him, especially in the first half where the ball was coming off him, especially against Everton. But second half, for me, is how I would like to see him play because he was way better than he was in the first half and against Everton. And I don't know whether he's going to start the next game because potentially we're going to have Cunha back. I don't know if Sesko's going to be back in time, but potentially we're going to have Cunha back. And it was a result that I was really, really, really happy with. And finally, we got what was needed, and that was a great thing because the results take us up now to sixth in the table, a place outside Europe, well, guaranteed Europe, although it might stretch to 6, 7, depending on how other English teams get on in Europe. And it was just a performance that I think we all needed, and we got in the second. There was some stuff that I weren't really happy with, like the center of that pitch. I wasn't really happy with it because they kept playing through us down the center. We were always trying to get the ball out wide. I did see Mountain come into the center, make it a bit stronger on a few occasions, but that was just so we could get the ball and stretch it out wide. And that was what we were doing quite a lot of, getting the ball and stretching it out wide. And it did actually work in some sense. So in the end, I was happy with the second half performance, not so much the first. And we did get that victory that we needed to knock us all to sixth. Because at the moment, it's still 0-0 in the other games. Villa Wolves 0-0, Forest Brighton 0-0, West Ham Liverpool 0-0, which is going in our favour. And then later on, a half four, you got Chelsea and Arsenal, which could be another win for Arsenal because they should be the favourites at this point. But yeah, that brings me to the end of the video and my quick reaction, shall I say. And I'll do a proper video on this subject tomorrow. in more expansion, especially with the highs and lows, and the player ratings as well. I'll do that tomorrow. But thank you for tuning in as always. I always appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But that was just a quick reaction to the game.